the kings of indie rock, though, if you can even call them indie rock at this point. 21 Pilots released their follow-up to their, what was it, like triple platinum album Blurry Face?
Massive album.
Crazy. Trench came out this past Friday. It's what, 15 tracks, 14 tracks, runs almost an hour. Before I give you my take, I want to hear, what did you think of this album?
Yeah. So, or at least known of 21 Pilots for some time. You were in on the band before they went super mainstream with the last album, Blurry Face, and I think you saw them perform at least twice, right?
Yeah, I've seen them 3 times now.
3 times, right? It's small venues. I mean, now they play arenas. It's pretty. Mm-hmm. If someone was on board, there's some pretty impressive rides, you know. And I actually kind of like their music more as they got more popular, just because. And overall, just walk back for a second. I find I'm usually one camp or the other. I actually really dig the song, or I really don't like the song, and I feel like their albums kind of are always all over the place in that regard for me. The reason I like Blurry Face more than Vessel Face just was like a tighter produced album, which probably lent itself to radio more, hence their big success with songs like Ride and Stressed Out. Because I never felt like their songwriting did it for me. I know some people really attach themselves to that, songs like Car Radio, for example, right? But
yeah,
I've always kind of found like the sad boy aesthetic a little off-putting, so some of those songs I'm not really into from them. And that being said, I just thought Blurry Face just sounded better, and even though I still think it's an album that's kind of all over the place, but as you listen to it, because again, it's another long listen, I thought it was a step up. And this album, Trench, they released 4 singles or so leading up to this, and they really had one away up until they just started up a traditional rollout for this. Oh, look, they're doing arena tours. Sounds like an album's coming. Oh, here's some singles. Yep, they're back. And that was after a big, year plus world tour after Blurry Face. So they kind of are just being big rock stars, alternative rock. Start. Really, I think it starts off like Jumpsuit. There's actually like real guitars on that, and then like they forgot guitars existed. You listen to the rest of the album, and they always have the drums, given the role, the duo. The drums are always there. They're like electronically present. The guitar is just kind of evaporated after the start of the album. Just because we were listening, and I was like, oh shit, okay, this is new. Oh, never mind, they forgot. But I think once again, when they hit on a song on this album, I think they're successful. And then when they don't, I think there's some weird songs on here. So it's kind of business as usual, I guess, for me. But what was your take as someone who's been into the band far longer than I have?
Yeah, I think the thing I liked about Vessels is, and I think people knock them a lot for this, is they switch up their songs in the middle so severely. It can throw you off the first time you hear it, because you're like, is this even the same song sometimes, the way that it digresses? But they always bring it back around. And I felt like that's actually what made them very unique, where Blurry Face kind of took them a little bit more mainstream. Like you said, it was a little more tightly produced, which I think actually makes this album my favorite since Vessels. I mean, Vessels holds a very special place in my heart when I discovered them, and it was just probably one of my favorite concerts ever I've been to. But I think the way that the songs transition on this, and the way that the ideas are tied together throughout the album, as well as just like I said, the production and the sounds in this seem a little bit more just precise, I think. Like a song like My Blood, I think is maybe the best song that they've made since Vessels, in my opinion. I think it's really great. It has a very like Killers type vibe to it, actually.
That song reminded me of wasn't the Killers. Foster the People.
Yeah, definitely.
I liked it a lot.
Yeah, I think My Blood is probably my favorite song on here. But yeah, I agree. I think that they could definitely use some more guitars in there. But for a band that, started off as pretty much like piano and drums, I think that they try to stay true to that. Like they end the album with pretty much a piano ballad with Leave the City. Um, but yeah, there are certain moments in this album that I really just love. Levitate, the drums on that just uh, like crash and snare throughout it that are just amazing. Um, I don't really like when they try to go reggae, and I think like Nico and the Niners. I think that was a single that just didn't hit for me. And Pet Cheetah just I think is like the worst of 21 Pilots when they can be a little all over the place and try to pull almost too many genres in together. But they really are a genre bending band that I think um, is able to capture things that especially like late teenage, early 20s, you're trying to like figure yourself out. They really encapsulate that and almost corner that market. So,
Mm.
I mean, overall, I liked it a lot. Still not up there with Vessels for me, but probably I like it way better than Blurry Face.
Word, yeah. Pet Cheetah, for example, you're right. That really is one of those like grab bag songs they make. Or, like the production, I think, is pretty solid. You listen to that hook, and you're just like, all right, well, you ruined the song.
Yeah.
You know, like songs like another song like Legend. Like I read my notes, Legend question mark.
Right.
I like some of it. Don't,
Hmm.
don't like a lot of the other parts. And it's like, I don't know if I ever can listen to that song again. It's weird.
Yeah. Like Smithereens, for example, is a song that reminds me a lot of House of Gold, which is just like it's a sweet acoustic song. And Smithereens is just, it's more, it doesn't have any ukulele in it like House of Gold does, but just like it's a love song. It's very upbeat, kind of sweet. Um, and they're talking about the low lights of fame on this in a lot of ways and how that plays into their depression and anxiety. So um, yeah, 21 Pilots, I think they're a band that's starting to find their footing, and I think that they can definitely continue propelling forward and being huge. They're not going to stop headlining festivals anytime soon, and this album's not going to do anything to, I think, elevate them more, but it's definitely keeping them on par with where they're at. So I think probably My Blood will be added to the playlist, and check that out on Spotify. Nowstalgia Best of 2018. We have I think almost 110 songs on there right now.